White-haired mouse demon. Even demons have their connections. The 67th, 68th, and 69th trials of the 81 Calamities. Protagonist, white-haired mouse demon. Weapon, twin-bladed sword, equipment, embroidered shoes. Characteristics, lovesick, recognizes King Li and Neza as relatives. Weaknesses, low ability, prone to using petty tricks. Everyone knows that Li Jing, the pagoda-bearing heavenly king, has 3 outstanding sons, but few are aware that he also has 2 daughters. One daughter, named Xuanzang, is his biological child, while the other is an adopted daughter whose true form is a white-haired mouse demon. The reason why Li Jing would adopt a demon as his daughter is not complicated. This mouse demon was born on Mount Ling and had been residing near the Buddha since birth. 300 years ago, it was forced to flee after stealing the fragrant flowers and sacred candles of the Buddha. Along the way, it was caught by Li Jing and his sons. Originally, Li Jing intended to kill the mouse demon outright, but the Buddha ordered its release to the mortal realm. Since then, the mouse demon has faithfully offered daily tributes to Li Jing and Neza, considering herself as Li Jing's adopted daughter, thus gaining some protection and status. White-furred mouse demon schemes for sympathy. After descending to the mortal world, the white-haired mouse demon took up residence in the bottomless cave of Trap Mountain, gradually becoming a powerful demon. Over the years, she acquired a luxurious lair, many servants, and blossomed into a stunning beauty. Her appearance was described as a round, fair face like a silver basin, lips as smooth as cherries. With a perfect beauty's poise, she could rival Chang'e in the moon. Proud of her looks, the mouse demon had high standards for a future partner, wanting nothing less than a handsome man, believing anything else would be unworthy of her face. However, finding a suitable match was difficult, given her high expectations and the limited pool of candidates within 100 miles. This left her in a dilemma until one day, she heard that Tang Seng and his disciples who were journeying to the west would soon pass through Trap Mountain. Tang Seng was reputed to be a very handsome monk, and upon hearing this, the mouse demon couldn't stay calm. She thought, though he's a monk, if I capture him and make him my husband, he won't be able to resist my beauty. She then began plotting how to capture Tang Seng, knowing he wasn't alone but accompanied by 3 disciples, all of whom were formidable fighters, especially the eldest, Sun Wukong, whom she dared not provoke. After pondering for a while, she concluded that brute force wouldn't work. She needed to use her wits. She had also heard that Tang Seng was overly compassionate, so she figured that exploiting this weakness might make things easier. With her plan set, the mouse demon decided to patiently await Tang Seng's arrival. The white-haired mouse demon was already lying in wait, but Tang Seng and his disciples had no idea. They journeyed day and night, and upon reaching Trap Mountain, they passed through a black pine forest. Exhausted, Tang Seng panted and said to Sun Wukong, "Wukong, I'm a bit hungry. Why don't we find something to eat before continuing?" Zubaji's eyes lit up at the suggestion, eagerly agreeing. Sun Wukong then made Tang Seng comfortable on a soft bed of pine needles and flew off to seek food. Seeing Sun Wukong leave, the mouse demon was delighted, thinking her task just became much easier with the strongest of the group gone. She eyed Tang Seng, sitting there with his handsome features and noble demeanor, and determined she had to have him. Using her magic, she transformed into a human woman bound to a tree, and cried out for help in Tang Seng's direction. Predictably, Tang Seng's compassion was stirred, and he led his disciples to investigate. Upon seeing the beautiful woman tied to the tree, Zubaji immediately freed her. Just then, Sun Wukong returned and shouted from the air, "Master, don't make the mistake of showing mercy again, this woman is a demon." Tang Seng, recalling the troubles his kindness had caused him before, hesitated. But he couldn't bear the thought of abandoning a potentially innocent person. The mouse demon, inwardly seething at Sun Wukong's quick return, feigned a sorrowful expression and said, "How can a monk on a journey to seek the Buddha ignore a person in need?" Hearing this, Tang Seng's resolve wavered, and despite Sun Wukong's warnings, he untied the demon and insisted on bringing her along. Tang Seng's inability to discern good from evil would soon lead to disaster, marking this as the 67th trial on their journey to the west, known as the Rescue in the Pine Forest. As night fell, the group found a temple and requested shelter. The monks there welcomed them warmly, offering food and preparing a place for them to rest. Since the white-haired mouse demon was a woman, the monks arranged for her to rest in the Tianwang Hall, separate from Tang Seng and his disciples. Initially planning to stay just one night, their plans were thwarted when Tang Seng caught a cold, leaving him bedridden with a severe headache. As a result, they had to remain at the temple for 3 days, marking the 68th trial on their journey, falling ill in the monks' quarters. The mouse demon, being a demon, needed to feed on humans. Every night, she would wait in the Tianwang Hall for a novice monk to come and recite scriptures. After 3 days, the temple's monks noticed some novices had gone missing and quietly speculated about what was happening. Sun Wukong overheard their conversation and immediately sensed something was amiss, suspecting a demon was involved. That night, he disguised himself as a novice and waited in the Tianwang Hall. Around midnight, a cold wind suddenly blew, and he heard the jingling of ornaments. Turning around, he saw a beautiful woman entering the hall. It was none other than the white-haired mouse demon. She approached Sun Wukong and began to flirt, but as he stood, she revealed her sharp claws ready to strike. At that moment, Sun Wukong leaped up, transformed back to his true form, and swung his Jingu Bang at her. The mouse demon drew her twin-bladed sword to fight, but it wasn't long before she started losing. Desperate, she threw her embroidered shoe, which turned into her doppelganger, using the golden cicada sheds its shell trick to distract Sun Wukong. She then transformed into a breeze, sneaked into the abbot's quarters, captured Tang Seng, and fled back to her lair in the bottomless cave, imprisoning him there. This marked the 69th trial on Tang Seng's journey, trapped in the bottomless cave. To be clear, Sun Wukong is not edible. When Sun Wukong returned and saw that Tang Seng was gone, he was furious and raised his Jingu Bang to attack Zubaji and Sha Seng. Sha Seng pleaded for mercy, and only then did Sun Wukong put away his staff. As dawn approached, Sun Wukong and his brothers inquired with local keepers and mountain gods, and learned that the demon resided in the bottomless cave of Trap Mountain. They hurried to the mountain, where Sun Wukong sent Zubaji to gather information. Zubaji, carrying his rake, ventured into the depths of the mountain and saw 2 women fetching water. He disguised himself as a fat monk and approached them, discovering that the women were fetching water to prepare for a wedding feast, as instructed by their master. Zubaji hurried back to inform Sun Wukong of this news. Sun Wukong, realizing the demon's lustful intentions, decided to follow the 2 women into the mountains. They arrived at a gateway with the inscription Bottomless Cave of Trap Mountain, and found a seemingly endless pit, which was likely the legendary Bottomless Cave. Sun Wukong instructed Zubaji and Sha Seng to guard the cave entrance while he jumped into the pit. After a long descent, he transformed into a fly and navigated the winding paths to a grand hall, where he saw the demon decorating for a wedding with red ribbons and festive symbols. The demon, dressed elaborately, was instructing her minions to set up the feast for Tang Seng's wedding. Sun Wukong immediately flew in to find his master. The mouse demon had placed Tang Seng in her bedroom after capturing him. Sun Wukong eventually located Tang Seng, who was overjoyed and tearful upon seeing him, and urgently asked to be rescued. Sun Wukong reassured Tang Seng, saying, "At the feast, pretend to cooperate and toast with the demon. I'll transform into a small insect and enter her drink, showing her what happens when she messes with us." Just as they finished speaking, the mouse demon entered the room. Eager to marry Tang Seng, she was constantly watching him. With the wedding preparations complete, she hurried to find Tang Seng. She took his arm and led him to the pavilion. As Tang Seng poured wine for her, the demon was pleased, thinking the monk was charmed by her beauty. When she saw a small insect on the edge of the cup, she flicked it away with her little finger. Sun Wukong, now transformed back into a fly, was sent flying but quickly flew back to Tang Seng's ear, saying, "Master, there's a garden behind. Convince her to go to the peach tree there." Tang Seng then stood up and suggested a walk in the garden. The mouse demon eagerly agreed and accompanied him into the garden. As the demon admired Tang Seng's face and chatted with him sweetly, they walked to the peach tree. Sun Wukong flew past Tang Seng, transformed into a large red peach on the tree. Understanding the signal, Tang Seng picked the peach and handed it to the demon. The mouse demon eagerly accepted it, but as soon as she bit into it, the peach rolled into her stomach. Surprised, she suddenly felt intense abdominal pain as Sun Wukong, inside her, began to kick and strike. The demon writhed in agony on the ground, shouting and begging for mercy. Hearing Sun Wukong's demands from inside her to release Tang Seng, she had no choice but to agree. Struggling, she got up and reluctantly let Tang Seng out of the cave. The demon was actually a relative of the pagoda-bearing Heavenly King. Once outside the cave, Zhu Baji and Xuanzang had already taken Tang Seng far away. Sun Wukong then signaled the demon to open her mouth, leaped out, and began to attack with his Jin Gu Bang. The demon, furious, fought back with her twin-bladed sword. Realizing they were outnumbered, she used her trick again, casting off her embroidered shoe to create a decoy while her true self escaped. Seeing the decoy, Zhu Baji and Xuanzang rushed to fight, allowing the demon to capture Tang Seng, his luggage and his horse, taking them back to the cave. When Zhu Baji's rake finally struck the decoy, they realized they had been tricked and rushed back, but Tang Seng was already missing. Sun Wukong, impatient with disguises, entered the cave and searched fiercely with his iron staff but found no trace of the demon. Instead, he came across two golden plaques, one reading Respectful Position of Heavenly King Li and the other, Respectful Position of Neza, Third Prince. Recognizing the connection, Sun Wukong took the plaques and stormed into heaven to demand answers. Sun Wukong, holding the plaques, flew to Lingxia Palace to confront Heavenly King Li and Neza, demanding the return of his master. Heavenly King Li, enraged, declared, "I have 3 sons and 1 daughter. My daughter, Junying, is only 7 years old and cannot be a demon." He ordered Sun Wukong to be restrained, but Neza quickly intervened, reminding his father of the white-haired mouse demon from 300 years ago. Buddha had spared the demon's life, allowing her to descend to the mortal world, which matched Sun Wukong's description. Realizing the truth, Heavenly King Li apologized to Sun Wukong. The Jade Emperor then instructed Heavenly King Li and Neza to lead the heavenly soldiers to Trap Mountain to capture the demon and rescue Tang Seng. Soon, Heavenly King Li and his forces arrived at Trap Mountain and entered the bottomless cave. Upon seeing Heavenly King Li, the demon abandoned her wedding plans and begged for mercy. Neza, with a stern face, used the demon-binding rope to capture her and took her back to heaven for judgment. Sun Wukong helped Tang Seng out of the cave, and the 4 of them quickly resumed their journey.